All right, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be getting started in just a minute or two. And the directions to get started are on the slide that we're sharing. There are written and visual directions to guide you. If closed captioning would aid your learning today, please find the closed caption button on your Zoom toolbar. Click the up arrow button and on the menu that pops up, select Show Subtitle. If you'd like to listen to today's webinar in Spanish, please find the interpretation button on your Zoom toolbar. Click the up arrow button and on the menu that pops up, select Spanish to listen to live interpretation of today's webinar. Lastly, you may have questions come up throughout the webinar today. Please submit questions by finding the Q&A button on your Zoom toolbar. You can click the button and you'll be prompted to type in your questions. Questions will be responded to in the chat throughout today's webinar. Any questions that are not responded to by the end of the webinar, we will work to get to by the end of the week, and they'll be posted on our website. So again, we'll get started in just a minute or two. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be getting started in just another minute. We have directions on the slide, and I'll also go over them again. If closed captioning would aid your learning today, please select the closed caption button on your Zoom toolbar. You can click the up arrow button and on the menu that pops up, then select Show Subtitle. If you'd like to listen to today's webinar in Spanish, please find the interpretation button on your Zoom toolbar. You'll click the up arrow button and on the menu that pops up, select Spanish to listen to a live interpretation of today's webinar. And lastly, if you have any questions that come up throughout the webinar today, please submit questions by finding the Q&A button on that Zoom toolbar. You can click the button and you'll be prompted to type your questions in. We'll work to respond to questions as we go throughout today's webinar, and any questions that remain unanswered, we will provide answers to on our website in the coming days. So welcome, welcome. Hello, Tara from California. Thanks for coming. Hello, Stacy from South Dakota, Patty from Nebraska, some people from Washington, Montana. Thank you all for joining us today. North Carolina, Texas, Chicago, Colorado, Utah. Oh, so many states represented. That's very exciting. Thank you all for joining us. Kansas, Georgia, New Mexico, Virginia, great representation across our country. All right, we'll give it about one more minute and then we're going to go ahead and get started.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us to learn more about the Healthy Meals Incentives Initiative to improve the nutritional quality of school meals. These initiatives will take their form through school food systems transformations, school food authority recognition and technical assistance, the generation and sharing of innovative ideas and tested practices, and through providing financial resources by the way of grants to school food authorities. During this webinar, you will learn about the eligibility requirements and how to prepare for the Healthy Meal Incentives Grants, which will launch on Monday, April 10th, and the types of projects that can be funded through the grant. I'd like our webinar team to introduce themselves to you today. Moving from left to right, I'm Barb McCurra, and I'm the Healthy Meals Incentive Program Director for Action for Healthy Kids.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maureen Bailey. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm with RMC Health and Action for Healthy Kids, and I'm the Professional Development and Evaluation Senior Manager.
Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to see you here. My name is Laura Smith, also she, her pronouns. I am the Executive Director of Programs with the Chef-Ann Foundation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate Havlick. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm with RMC Health as the program coordinator. I'm also serving as tech support today. So if you have any issues, please feel free to ping me in the chat.
Great. Well, I hope everyone can see the agenda today on the screen. We'll be covering general information and key objectives of the Healthy School Meals Incentive Grants. Then we'll review eligible and ineligible expenses. We'll also show you how to get signed up on the Action for Healthy Kids grant portal. And we'll talk about potential partners that school food authorities could work with on their grant. And then we'll close with a brief question and answer session based on our remaining time. So once again, our objectives for today's webinar is to help you get more familiar with the objectives of the Healthy Meals Incentives Grant. We'll talk about what can be funded, in addition to providing just a couple of ideas to help you with your ideating and dreaming about what your grant application could include. Last, we will cover how to get signed up on our Action for Healthy Kids grant portal so that everyone can get ready for the grant application launch on Monday, April 10th at noon Eastern Standard Time. So, these healthy meal incentive initiatives are so important to help school nutrition professionals improve school meals. What we found out during the pandemic is that our nation's health is poor. Unfortunately, one of the main reasons for the state of health is from our highly processed food diets. And we also learned just how fragile our food system is. These initiatives are designed to help provide the tools, the operational support, financial resources, and the moral support to help elevate our school meal programs, our school food systems, and our school nutrition professionals. Food is one of the most important influences on our everyday brain skills, from our concentration to our memory. Our brains use food as a fuel to send signals out to our bodies to regulate it. So it's important then that the food we use to fuel brain power be the highest quality, most nutrient-dense food we can find to purchase in our schools, to help those developing brains grow and learn into healthy, happy, and kind humans. So in 2022, the USDA Food and Nutrition Service established the Healthy Meals Incentives Initiative, or HMI. They did this to improve the nutritional quality of school meals through food system transformation, school food authority recognition, technical assistance, the generation and sharing of innovative ideas and tested practices, and grants. HMI activities are also expected to increase utilization and demand for nutritious agricultural commodities, such as whole grains, vegetables, legumes, fruit, and food products that reflect various cultures. The grant application will open at noon Eastern Standard Time on April 10th, and the last day to submit applications will be May 26th at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We anticipate awarding up to 240 schools with the HMI grants. So who's eligible to apply? Small and/or rural school food authorities in the United States or U.S. territories are eligible to apply for a minimum of $10,000 and up to $150,000, as long as they have less than 5,000 students enrolled and/or are assigned the locality code of 41, 42, or 43. These are codes found in the National Center for Educational Statistics database that classifies schools as rural. In order to determine if your school food authority is assigned a locality code of 41, 42, or 43, please use the link that's being shared in the chat below. For those schools who believe that they meet the eligibility requirement by enrollment, please verify your student enrollment through your local school administration. Again, that's probably one of the most common questions that we're getting is the eligibility to apply, and you can meet the eligibility requirement by being small and/or rural. So you can be both or one or the other. The definition of a school food authority is also another question that's been coming back in. The definition of a school food authority is the governing body which is responsible for the administration of one or more schools and has the legal authority to operate a national school lunch program. And most commonly, what we are calling the school food authority is the organization that has the contract that is eligible to operate the national school lunch program. So if you are a charter school and you have a school food authority agreement, you are eligible for this grant opportunity as long as you meet the enrollment requirement. There are three main grant objectives. Your proposed grant activities should be clearly aligned with the grant objectives. Objective number one is that grant funds will help school food authorities overcome the challenges in the improvements of the nutritional quality of their school meals due to limited staffing, difficulty in accessing training, increased food costs due to limited purchasing power, and lack of physical space and/or outdated kitchen equipment. Objective number two is that grant funds will help improve the nutritional quality of your school meals and support the areas of the new proposed rules for child nutrition programs, which help to maintain consistency with the dietary guidelines for Americans by focusing grant activities on one or more of the areas outlined on our following slides. Your grant application should seek to do at least one of the following, but of course could address all of the areas. You could choose to reduce the amount of added sugars in school breakfast program meals. You could reduce the amount of sodium in the national school lunch program meals. You could engage students in local menu planning efforts, taste testing, and nutrition education activities. You could feature local agricultural products on your menus. Next page. You could increase whole grain rich menu items. You could work collaboratively with students and the community to provide nutritious menu options that reflect the cultures of students at school. You could incorporate scratch prepared menu items into the breakfast and lunch weekly meal plans. You could implement innovative practices in nutrition education activities. Grant objective number three. After using grant funds to make improvements to school meals that are outlined in objectives 1 and 2, grant recipients are required to apply for one or more of the Healthy Meal Incentives Recognition Awards to demonstrate to their students and their community that nutritious meals are critically important to support child health and school achievement. And you might wonder, well, what are Healthy Meal Incentive Recognition Awards? The awards are listed on your screen, and the awardees of the grants will be required to apply for at least one of these Healthy Meal Incentives Recognition Awards. Criteria for each award will be located on the Healthy Meals Incentives website, which can be found at www.healthymealsinc.org. incentives.org. By achieving one or more of the goals of this grant outlined on the previous slides, you will be eligible for one or more of the awards on the screen. Unlike the grants, these awards are open to all school food authorities participating in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program. One of the really unique features of these grants are that selected funded school food authorities will receive the support needed to be successful with their projects through the support of Action for Healthy Kids team and two additional partners, RMC Health and Chef Ann Foundation. RMC Health partners are passionate advocates for helping young people be healthy, providing professional learning and capacity building that prepares them to be knowledgeable, capable, and effective. Their work helps wellness champions bring their vision to life so that students from every background and any identity can live their best lives. I'll turn it over to Maureen, who will talk a little bit more about RMC's health work.
Thank you, Barb. So through the partnership with RMC Health, school food authorities will have access to numerous professional development opportunities that align to their specific project type, from training and technical assistance that'll be tailored to their needs. So there'll be opportunities to attend virtual trainings, workshops, webinars, and also communities of practice that will come with technical assistance provided to support the implementation of the skills learned during those professional development opportunities. Funded school food authorities that have similar projects are also going to have the opportunity to join in a community of practice where they'll be able to share successes with one another and work together through any challenges that they are facing.
All right, thank you, Maureen. The Chef Ann Foundation is another partner for Action for Healthy Kids in this Healthy Meals initiative. The Chef Ann Foundation was founded in 2009 by Chef Ann Cooper, a pioneer in school food reform. The foundation believes that every child should have access to fresh, healthy food every day so that they can develop healthy eating habits to last a lifetime. Chef Ann Foundation believes the greatest impact can be had through changing school food. They ensure that school food professionals have the resources, funding, and support they need to provide fresh, healthy, delicious, cooked from scratch meals through implementation grants and leadership and professional development. To date, Chef Ann Foundation programs have reached over 13,000 schools and 3.5 million children in all 50 states. I'm going to turn it over to Laura to let her cover what support Chef Ann Foundation will provide. Laura?
Thank you, Barb. Through this program, grantees will have access to the Chef Ann Foundation's Scratch Cooking Assessment and Learning Evaluation, known as SCALE. SCALE is a self-paced assessment, and information collected from that assessment report will provide a comprehensive and high-level review of major food program elements that will inform the technical assistance or TA strategy provided for each grantee. That technical assistance will look two different ways: culinary technical assistance and systems-based. Culinary TA topics may include menu planning support, recipe development, kitchen workflow, food safety, food crediting, inventory management, equipment and facilities, and the list can go on and on. On the systems side of things, technical assistance topics may include labor and staffing, finance and budget development, procurement, commodity selection, contracts, marketing plans, and so on. Chef Ann Foundation is excited to support you all in your journey through the Healthy Meals Incentives Program.
All right, thanks, Laura. So our next section that we'll cover will be eligible and ineligible expenses, which I will turn back over to Laura.
Thank you, Barb. If we can get to the next slide, please. So on this screen, you will see a list of things that can be funded with this grant. First and foremost, it's important to note that only 25% of the funding can be used towards purchasing food. But what could your implementation of this look like? Your district could replace kitchen equipment to enable scratch cooking. Your district could implement a nutrition education or student engagement plan. Your district could train staff on basic culinary, production, cooking, or serving skills. Your district could hire staff to source more value-added, minimally processed, or regionally sourced meals. Your district could hire a community teacher or staff school garden expert to expand experiential learning opportunities, such as creating school gardens. Perhaps you're interested in looking at an innovative meal preparation, and you are considering the Innovation in Preparation of School Meals Recognition Award. For that award, for example, SFAs will look at using a local agricultural product as a part of their scratch meals. So as a part of your grant application, you might want to purchase some new products to run through recipe testing. Again, reminder, only 25% of your total budget can be used to purchase food. Maybe you've already developed those scratch menu items and you need to do some marketing to students or families about those options. Those are all great ideas for this funding opportunity. Taking that same scenario, maybe you know what local product you want to use and you've identified a recipe, but you don't have an equipment to prepare that item. You can apply for small as well as capital equipment through this funding opportunity. And to complement that purchase, technical assistance from RMC Health and the Chef-Ann Foundation can help you get that new equipment fit into your kitchen workflow, help you identify further opportunities for innovative scratch-produced items, and perhaps some new culturally relevant dishes. This program's all about innovation, and we want to hear your ideas and your funding needs to support healthy school meals access for your students. From meal planning to increased local procurement to new equipment, recipe testing, nutrition education, staffing and training or retraining, marketing your program, and more, this is your opportunity to find solutions to the challenges you faced for improving nutritional quality of your school meals. And on the flip side, what can't be funded? So let's go over a few things. Again, while food purchases are acceptable with this grant, cannot exceed 25% of the overall requested funds. Projects that request more than 25% of funds will not be funded to go towards food purchases. As mentioned earlier, school food authorities must be rural with a locality code of 41, 42, or 43, and/or have under 5,000 students enrolled. School food authorities that are not rural or large will not be eligible for this grant opportunity. Similarly, as Barb described earlier, grantees must be school food authorities. This means that organizations that support with school meals or nutrition programming are ineligible. You must be the SFA. This is not an exhaustive list, and more details will be provided in the forthcoming request for applications that will be posted on the Healthy Meals Incentives website. Now time for a quick quiz. All right, scenario number 1. A rural and/or small school district would like to establish a school community garden where students will learn about growing and harvesting fresh produce. The produce grown in the garden will then be used for student taste tests and to begin a farm to cafeteria program. Can this project be funded? Give you a few seconds to answer. Okay, may we have the answer, please? Yes, good job, everybody. Yes, this can be funded. So you would not be purchasing the food through that garden. You would be producing the food. Therefore, that food would not be a purchase associated with your budget. Okay, poll number 2. A rural and/or small district would like to expand on the types of nutritious foods served in the cafeteria. More than half of the funds being applied for would go towards the purchase of food. Can this project be funded? And the answer is no. Correct is no. So if more than half of the funds are towards food purchases, that program is ineligible for funding. Total food purchases must equal less than 25% of the total budget. And number 3. A small charter school that is part of a large urban district wants to provide scratch cooking. They can match the grant funds available and plan to purchase kitchen equipment with that grant. Can this project be funded? And the answer, please. The correct answer is no. While the kitchen equipment can be purchased using this grant is specific to small and/or rural school districts. So yes, you can purchase kitchen equipment, but the key here is that this large urban district is ineligible. A small or rural district would be eligible. To close the poll, if it is still on your screen, please press the X button in the top left corner of your poll pop-up. And now I'm going to turn it over to Maureen for more on the grant portal.
Thank you, Laura. So in order to make it as easy as possible for school food authorities to apply for this funding opportunity, Action for Healthy Kids is using an online grant portal and providing optional templates to support with that application process. In order to access the Action for Healthy Kids portal, where you're going to submit the grant application, you're first going to go to the Healthy Meals Incentives website. The link of this website is being shared in the chat. It looks like Kate just shared it, so thank you. After going to the Healthy Meals Incentives webpage, you're going to go to the Action for Healthy Kids portal to register. Once you have an account on the portal, you're going to see the portal homepage. And from here, you're going to select My School/District. And I think I've seen a couple of questions on, will these slides be made available? And the answer is yes, they will be. And then in order to access the grant, you must select your district. Any small and/or rural school food authority within the United States or US territories is eligible to apply for this grant. To find your district, you're going to scroll down to where it says add a new school/district connection. If you cannot find your district, click where it says here at the bottom of the page, and someone will be able to help you with finding or adding your district. Once you've registered for the portal and selected your district, you're then ready to go ahead and start the application process. As a reminder, the grant application will open on April 10th and it'll close on May 26th. After registering for your school district, you'll select the Grants tab at the top of the screen, and then you're going to select the Healthy Meals Incentives. Again, any small and/or rural district in the United States or US territory is eligible to apply for funding. Once you select the Healthy Meals Incentives grant page, you're then going to see additional information about this grant and the steps for completing the grant application. To start the application, you're going to select the district that you just registered in step 3. Then you're going to be able to complete the grant in any order that you choose by navigating through the different tabs at the top of the screen. Be sure to save frequently. It's not going to save automatically, and it's also not something that you have to do in one sitting. You can save it, close out of it, and come back to it at a later time. If you experience any challenges with the application process, please send your question or challenge to the email address that's being shared in the chat. In order to support you in preparing for the application, we're providing a project timeline and also a grant budget template to help track expenses. These are optional tools to help you with that application process and just planning it out. You are not going to need to upload these to the grant application. The templates are being shared in the chat now, and they will also be available on the Healthy Meals Incentives website. And now I'm going to kick it back over to Barb.
Thanks, Maureen. So one of the next key pieces that we believe is part of this grant process is identifying partners. There are benefits of developing collaborative partnerships in your communities. Collaboration ensures broader support, maximizes resources, and enables non-traditional access to additional resources. So it's an opportunity for a community to come together to address problems and propose solutions. You might be able to enhance your project through a partnership with another nonprofit, a community entity like your extension agency. Collaborating on grant applications with other agencies may you allow to obtain needed assets from non-traditional funding sources that will enhance your grant application. Who might some of those partners be? As I just mentioned, it might be your extension department. Extension department people are very excited to help rural and small school districts with these grant projects. Public health departments are also interested in helping schools make the improvements to school nutrition programs. A school agricultural department is usually pretty excited to work with school nutrition departments. Students can plant a plot of vegetables and fruit and learn how it grows. They can harvest it, bring it to the cafeteria, and use it in the school meal programs. I've seen it done in many schools, and it's really an engaging practice that teaches the kids a lot of hands-on life skills. Nonprofit and or community-based organizations are also interested in helping improve the nutritional quality of school meals. And then we have district teachers and district administration to reach out to them and ask them how they can potentially partner with you for opportunities to provide nutrition education or anything that can be done in the classroom, maybe a school garden right outside the classroom windows. But they're usually very interested in helping school nutrition programs too. But it can be challenging to do this work by yourself, and we encourage you to think about who you can partner with to make this a successful project for your district. Think about the organizations near you that would support the project and how the district teachers and the district staff, again, can help support this work. Who are the organizations in your area and how could you partner with them? This was one of the reasons why we wanted to make sure that we conducted this webinar ahead of the application opening, is to provide school districts time to think about who those partners might be, to set up meetings with them and do some ideating with them about what those partnerships could look like. So utilize this time before the grant portal opens and create those partnerships. All right.
So we have received so many great questions during this webinar and from the registrations that you all submitted. So we're going to take some time to answer some of those questions now. And as a reminder, for any questions that we don't get to today, we will be putting together a frequently asked questions document that will be shared on the Healthy Meals Incentives website. So this first question is going to go to Barb. Barb, may a charter school apply on its own behalf independently, or does the local educational agency or school district apply on behalf of the charter school?
Well, you must be an SFA in order to be able to apply for this grant. Individual schools that are not an SFA are not eligible entities. So eligible school food authority applicants, again, must be small and or rural school food authorities participating in the National School Lunch and or the School Breakfast Program in the contiguous United States, Hawaii, Alaska, District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, or the United States Virgin Islands. So an independent charter school that is its own school food authority is eligible to apply as long as it meets the small of under 5,000 students requirement. If a charter school is part of a larger school district that does not meet either the small and or rural, it would not be eligible to apply.
Thank you, Barb. Our next question is for Laura. Laura, how many grants will be offered through this program, and how is it determined who will receive the grants?
Thank you for that question. Using the competitive process, we anticipate awarding about $30 million to over 200 small and or rural school food authorities. School Food Authority may apply for a minimum of $10,000 and up to $150,000. The period of performance for these grants will be August 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2025.
Thank you, Laura. This next question was for me. So what help will be available if awarded the grant? So Action for Healthy Kids is going to work with their partners, Rocky Mountain Center for Health and Education, RMC Health, and the Chef Ann Foundation to administer these grants. RMC Health is a national leader in professional development for school staff to create and sustain healthy schools. Chef Ann Foundation is dedicated to empowering schools nationwide with the tools, training, resources, and funding they need to serve meals. Collectively, all three organizations will provide in-depth, individualized technical assistance to support and guide grantees in overcoming challenges and implementing key strategies to improve school meal quality, meet the HMI recognition awards criteria, and mitigate any potential roadblocks to success. Training and technical assistance topics can include, but are definitely not limited to, menu planning, recipe development, kitchen workflow, food safety, food crediting, inventory management, equipment, labor and staffing, finance and budget development, procurement, commodity selection, contracts, marketing plans, and the list just goes on and on and on. If you have any questions, please reach out to that email address that Kate submitted earlier if you are wondering if technical assistance would be provided for your particular need. And then this next question goes to Barb. If a school food authority meets the definition of small, but does not meet the definition for rural, should they still apply for this grant?
Yes, absolutely, you should. School food authorities only need to meet one of the two definitions of either rural or small. School food authorities must meet all the remaining criteria of participating in the National School Lunch and/or School Breakfast Program, though, and also be in the contiguous United States, Hawaii, Alaska, District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, or the United States Virgin Islands.
Thank you. And this next question is for Laura. Our project coordinator, and it's a two-part question, Laura, so I'm just going to name that. Part one, are project coordinators fundable? And part two, can funds support additional training for staff?
Yes. Funds may be used for salary and benefits for staff directly supporting the project. Your budget must include those costs as separate line items, and the budget narrative should include information about the salary, benefits, and amount of time that each staff member will be allocated to this project. Payment to contractors carrying out grant activities is also an allowable expense. Funds may be used for contracting to support your menu development, perhaps nutrition education. Again, sky is the limit, and you just need to detail those in your budget description.
Thank you, Laura. This next question is for me. So what tracking tools are required? What grant reporting is required after the fact? So grantees are going to be required to provide two types of reports during this grant period. The first is you'll have financial reports and implementation progress reports. Action for Healthy Kids is going to provide templates for both reports to grantees when the period of performance begins. So that first report, you have financial reports, and those are going to be due 30 days after the end of each federal fiscal quarter. So for example, October through December of 2023, that quarter will be due by January 30th of 2024. The quarterly financial report will summarize the total funds spent through the end of the quarter, and it will compare that amount to the grant budget. If funds are being utilized more or less rapidly than would be expected given the project budget, this should be then discussed or justified in that narrative. Then you also have the implementation progress reports, and these are done semi-annually, 30 days after each 6-month period. So for example, July through December 2023 would be due on January 30th of 2024. And this should provide details on the status of the project work that's been completed to date, and it'll report on the changes and outcomes because of that work. So these progress reports will be an opportunity for grant awardees to share their successes and their challenges, and how they were addressed to help build a cadre of best practices that then can be shared out in newsletters, conferences, and on social media sites. And then this next question is for Barb. Barb, can a catering company who provides meals to schools qualify for this grant? You're on mute, Barb.
Thank you. No, the application must be submitted by a school food authority for this grant. Catering companies or contract management companies are not eligible entities to submit an application.
Thank you. And Laura, how long does it take to receive funding? And so another two-part question for you, Laura, I apologize. How long does it take to receive funding? And does the project need to be completed before the funds are issued?
Thank you. The HMI grant is a reimbursement subgrant in which grantees will be allowed to request one reimbursement per month for all outstanding expenses at the time of the reimbursement request. The reimbursement request will require details of actual expenditures by budget category, along with supporting documentation for the reimbursements requested. Supporting documentation may include, but certainly is not limited to, invoices, receipts, canceled checks, and purchase orders. In certain circumstances, a grantee will have the opportunity to request an advance on future reimbursable expenses that will be spent within the next 30 days.
Thank you.
Should we take a few more questions?
Yes.
So I'm seeing one in here that says, would a point of sale equipment and software be something that would qualify for this grant? Definitely nutrition analysis software would be included in the grant. And if in your application, you could justify how a point of sale equipment would help you improve the nutritional quality of school meals or meet any of those challenges with staffing issues or procurement or anything like that, you could certainly include that in your grant application. Anybody else want to take another question?
Sure, I see one specifically referencing a Chef Ann Foundation program. So the question is, will districts who receive this grant go through the Get Schools Cooking program? This is a separate funding opportunity, chock full of its own technical assistance and training. So no, grantees from this program will not go through that program. However, the level of support is similar in that districts will receive customized individual support based on their needs in order to achieve the grant deliverables.
I see a question here saying we are a charter school that is a school food authority, part of a large district. So are we eligible? And the answer to that is no. It was in one of our examples that we went over, but it must be a small and or rural district. So small meaning 5,000 students or less throughout the entire district, and or a locality of 41, 42, or 43.
Seems like we have a lot of eligibility questions. There's also another one that says, do all schools located in the school food authority have to be classified as rural? The answer to that is no. At least 50% of the students enrolled in your district need to be classified as students attending a rural school.
Here's an allowable expense question. Is hiring a chef to manage the transformation to scratch cooking allowable? Yes, that is allowable. You will need to detail the salary and benefits associated with all persons working on this project. And we would want to hear about your sustainability plan for after the funding period. This opportunity will not be able to sustain any programming beyond the grant period. So we would want to hear from you how you will make sure that this program works beyond the funding period.
And another question, how many awards are anticipated? We are anticipating up to 240 awards being granted.
Mhm. Another really fun question. Somebody's really ideating out there. The question is, can this grant be used to build a greenhouse? Again, I would say if you could present in your grant application how that supports your work in helping to get nutrition education to kids, improve your school meals, and remove some of those barriers for your school nutrition program. Absolutely. I think greenhouses, I've seen some built in schools, and they're a great way to educate students about food and to get them to be good food explorers.
Here's a question. It was stated that marketing was allowed, but advertising is not. Can you explain the difference? Marketing is a great way to engage your community, engaging with your students to help them appreciate what is being served on the menu, to help provide input about what is being served on the menu. What we don't want to be paying for through this is to just plaster up billboards across town. This is an opportunity for engaging to improve school meals and ensuring that your community is benefiting from this program.
I'm seeing another question here that asks, when do the funds need to be expended by? The funds need to be expended by September 30th. Yes, September 30th, 2025, which is another great aspect of this grant, is that it gives you several years in order to accomplish your goals.
We did have a question if written responses to questions will be provided, and the answer to that is yes. The questions we have answered here today, and also questions that we may not get time to answer in this webinar, will be provided typed on our website within the coming days.
All right, well, we can move to our closing screens, and just thank you for joining today's webinar. We just want the school nutrition people to know that we see you, and we're here to support you. We're here to help you complete your grant application so that you can elevate your meal programs. We know that you've been through challenging times and that you've been feeding kids and filling their bellies with food and their hearts with love. And so we appreciate all the hard work that you've been doing, all the challenges, and we're excited to help you make some improvements to your school meals through these grants. So we hope we provided some clarity around the forthcoming Healthy Meals Initiative grant, and we look forward to reviewing your applications. We will be doing another webinar once our request for applications has been released, and that will be closer to the April 10th date. And so keep an eye on the HMI website for that RFA document, which will provide a lot more clarity for you to read through the document, but also on our next webinar on April 11th. That will be a 90-minute webinar where we'll be able to go into further explanation about the requirements of the grant. As a reminder, the grant portal will be open beginning April 10th at noon, and the last day to submit a grant is on May 26th at 5 p.m., and all of that is in Eastern Standard Time. So please submit any questions to the email address that you see on your screen, and our team will answer these questions and will provide responses on our website. We will have an FAQ document on the HMI website. So thank you for your daily commitment to serving children in your communities. We want you to know that we see you and we appreciate how you've persevered through some very difficult days. And we're excited for this opportunity to work with schools across the country to help them overcome some of these barriers that make it difficult to offer nutritious meals to students and to fuel their learning and health. Thank you again. And if you have any challenges with the grant application, once it opens, please contact us.